Okay. Actually, maybe that's good. I don't know. Well, here we are, doing another test. As you can see, here's the Beatrice and Charlotte. We're gonna fill in the second half of this with something new, because we're testing stuff out. And we got our board here, and I can crop it in. It's at 4K now. This, I think, is at 1080. Still seems to be going. I'm gonna crop you down, and I'm gonna crop you down, and I'm gonna crop you down. Got the last of my cold brew. Let's see what kind of story, Banana, for your display. Improv. Anyway, today we'll be telling the story of, I needle felted an owl recently, so let's do this owl. I feel like Charles is a good name considering the mustache. And I realize the beak is below the mustache, but I feel like that looks better on an owl. Here we got some eyes, dark eyes. He's got this kind of wispy hair. Kind of looks like some flames or something, but anyway, very stylish owl. Kind of looks a little bit penguin-y, but owl tufts going there. This is Charles the owl. And Charles the owl has been hired as a bounty hunter by the bees. The bees in this world are just like all bees, very industrious. There's a lot of politics among the bees. Bees are very serious about what they do. This is a serious bee here. So the bees are like, we want to hire you, Charles, because they've got a problem. What do the bees have a problem with? Obviously, bears that want to take their honey. Specifically, because he's in public domain now. We're using Pooh Bear. Pooh, and he is wanted, dead by the bees. So they hire Charles to go take him out. So Charles flies through the forest searching for Pooh, and he finds a trail of sticky substance leading towards a cave. And the sticky substance is obviously some honey. And the side of the cave also has a big sign that says Pooh on it. So it's kind of obvious who he's gonna find in there. So Charles the owl takes out his special bounty hunter's kit, which looks a little bit like this. He carries this with him everywhere to all his missions. And you can probably guess what's in there. Here's a little tree branch. And we've got the iconic wispy hair of Charles over here. And I drew the branch before I drew him, so it's gonna be a little bit messed up, but he's got the sniper that he's assembling from his kit here. And so Charles the owl camps out on a tree branch, ready to snipe Pooh as soon as he comes out, so that he can get that bounty hunter money from the bees. This is what Charles does every day. This is a normal day for Charles. We'll put his mustache kind of sticking out the sides there. And so he's camped out on the tree and waiting for Pooh to come out. But does Pooh come out? How long do you think he has to wait on the tree until Pooh comes out of the cave? That's right. Pooh has just gone into the cave with all of his full belly of honey, and he's hibernating for the entire winter. So Charles probably came at the worst possible time to camp out to snipe him, because he has to sit in that tree for 3 whole months. No, he does not think to go into the cave to check if Pooh is actually in there. Instead, he sits there for the whole 3 months, and 3 months later, Pooh walks out, and there's a red dot. His eyes kind of bug a little bit as he looks at it, and then quickly he comes up with a proposal for the owl. He tells Charles, "I will give you 10 times what they're paying you if you steal their hive and get me some post-hibernation honey." And look at Charles' eyes right here. Charles has no morals. He does not care about the bees and their plight. So he says, 10 times the money? I've been sitting here doing nothing for 3 months, taking on no other work. I need that cash. So Charles says, okay. He goes back to the bees, and he's also kind of hungry because he's been sitting there for 3 months. And owls, they'll eat bugs probably. So Charles the owl eats all the bees, flies back to Pooh. He's carrying the hive, which has a lot of honey in it. His hair kind of flows gracefully behind him like this. Got the mustache going. Beard is also kind of flowing. Eyes big as ever. He's got the little feathers. So he delivers the honey to Pooh. Pooh says thank you. Then Charles the owl ends up with a whole bunch of cash. And that's the story of how Charles the owl took out the bees and gave Pooh Bear some honey. The end.